Greta is a seriously flawed film, tone-deaf dialogue, characters that don't behave like real human beings, but in Huppert's hands it becomes a guilty pleasure. Greta simply isn't frightening enough to be a great horror film. Greta could have been great fun and a much stronger film had it leaned into its genre origins.
It opens strong, develops well and relies on Huppert's supernatural presence to create palpable tension before going entirely off the rails.
The stalker subgenre takes an unfortunate step backward in Neil Jordan's new film. There are gigantic plot holes, with the story being far too dependent on luck and coincidence. There is no clear moment where Greta turns from boring stalker movie into full-blooded wackadoo thriller, and that is ultimately the film's downfall. Huppert and Jordan are certainly capable of turning up the volume, but for whatever reason they pull back in Greta, getting stuck somewhere between schlockly art and arty schlock.
Greta is far more silly than sinister, but is partially saved by Isabelle Huppert's gloriously theatrical performance as the film's titular character. Without these two actresses, this would be a straight-to-video script. There wasn't enough on the page to warrant the talent.
Greta is a derivative and at times ludicrous psychodrama. It's everything and nothing, a familiar regurgitation of a formula with precious little to add. Greta is the kind of ambiguous horror film that might be appealing to that narrow group of viewers who don't like horror movies but want to see one anyway.
The movie frustrates. And it squanders Huppert, which really is a waste. Greta is sadly regrettable. Greta is fairly ridiculous and blatantly obvious, and frankly, don't we deserve at least a little better from an Isabelle Huppert film? Timing, logic, and performances are deeply flawed, leaving Greta struggling to find traction as a nightmare machine.
There's something just slightly off about these characters, as if Jordan never quite figured them out, or why they need each other. No one is well served by this misfire. The absence of deeper mystery pushes everything onto Greta's slick surface, where it slides into territory that's not only far-fetched, but implausible and in a few instances laughable.
The elements in Greta could add up to something special. It's just a shame that they don't quite come together.
Greta is a tepid thriller that begins promisingly before simultaneously jumping the tracks, jumping the shark, and jumping off a cliff. Disturbance eventually gives way to derangement in a story that grows exponentially more irritating the more preposterous it gets.